All right, welcome into How Bout Wow, day 3 of Cowboys training camp, and we are packed with Cowboys news. We have all the highlights and storylines that you need to be in the know. Which Cowboy made an appearance leading the return of the Malik Hooker interception that had everybody on the sideline shocked? Which Cowboy starter is hurt? What we have our fingers crossed for tomorrow. How does Tyler Guyton look at left tackle? And one guy helped make the best and worst plays of the day. We got all the top plays from Cowboys training camp. Take it away, Jimmy.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
All righty, I'm Gavin Dawson from 105.3 The Fan, home of the Cowboys, 2 to 7 every weekday. And with me, as always, is the former all-academic SEC lineman from Kentucky, Newbear Lesniewski. How the hell are you, buddy?
I'm happy to be talking to a human being. I've been in a Twitter rabbit hole watching plays over and over and over. Like I was just telling you about the RB drill, and I was like, hey, did you see this one? Did you see this? No, did you see this one? And you just go back and forth, and you're sharing stuff, and you just over and over and over and over. Like, it's intoxicating.
It is, especially with new coaches, and enough new players like George Pickens, enough great players on this team, and just terrific vibes, and the energy in Oxnard is so crazy good right now. It has people very excited. And salute to all the beat writers and reporters on the field covering this thing. We will join them early next week, and we're going to have lots of content from Oxnard for you next week. So if you haven't locked in yet, please hit the like, hit the sub, hit the bell button so you can be notified whenever we upload. Okay, How About Wow brought to you by BetOnline. Bonus referral link in the description for up to $250 in bonus bets. Let's get ready for week 1. What do you say? Okay, and I don't think this is the play that I want to go to first. Give me just a second here, Newbear. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and we're going to get this Malik Hooker interception. And pay attention to the back of the end zone on this one. Standing next to Matt Eberflus is an injured Cowboy who's this? And leading the charge to the end zone there, of course, he suffered the, what's that called? The holy trinity of knee ligament blowouts, all 3 of them last season. And he looks pretty dang good here, Newbear. What do you think?
Bermuda freaking triangle. Oh, man. I was about to interrupt you and be like, dude, shut up. Let the people watch and see. Because the first time I saw this, probably the first 2 or 3 times I saw this, I'm looking for Agent Zero. I was like, wait a minute, did they give him his jersey today? Did they give him a hat? And no, he's the dude in plain clothes running faster than all the other dudes in helmets and shoulder pads.
Yeah, this is incredible. And to me, the cut right there to get back to the outside, he doesn't look like he's gingerly worried about his knee. That looks much better than what Siobhan Ravel showed us in the clip we ran last night, didn't it?
In the end zone, right here, bang! The little crossover almost. He is clearly not thinking about it. It's the opposite, like you said, of the Ravel video, where you can tell as he's coming to decelerate, Ravel is still thinking about it. And that's the one thing about this is, we're relative straight line. We're straight ahead. Like what happens if because he gets to decelerate kind of nicely there. He's into a jog and then he's walking off the field. Ravel was tracking a ball and then he's trying to stop and trying to get back to doing things the way that an NFL cornerback is supposed to do them, right? So it's not like Overshown zone dropped and then cut and then picked the ball off and then cut. Like he's excited. He's running in a straight line. But the thing that stands out is that he's clearly not thinking about it.
Yeah, it shows tremendous amount of confidence. A little bit more Overshown context here for you from Nick Harris, Star Telegram. There isn't hope Overshown to return in time to hit the field in Oxnard, but that hasn't stopped him from being engaged. He has been next to defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus during the entirety of team drills this week, and he has been active in learning the system. So, I just think this is great. It's heading in an awesome direction. He says that at the latest he'll be back by Thanksgiving, but if you could just get this defense healthy with him and Siobhan Ravel, I would be a lot more confident about them getting to the playoffs and having the chance to win multiple playoff games. I mean, if Washington got to the NFC title game last year, these Cowboys can if they're healthy.
I said yesterday that we were in line for some Christmas presents, and thinking about it, having a ton to be thankful for a whole holiday earlier is a lot more exciting.
We got a Joe Milton throw on the run, and he's got a cool exclamation here at the end as well.
Reset. I do this. Whoa, man. Look at God, ain't it?
Do this. Look at God. Joe Milton having a ton of fun. And look at this on the run. Boom. Perfect dart to, I believe that's Kavonte Turpin. That was a play of the day out there at camp in Oxnard today, buddy.
It's actually one of the biggest misconceptions that, father-in-laws the world over and their son-in-laws argue about. The old school guys talk about, when quarterbacks used to roll out all the time. Oh, right-handed quarterback going to his left. Anatomically, it's actually better. And I love having that argument with folks. I mean, go out in the backyard and do it. And roll out to your right if you're right-handed and throw to the right, and then roll out to the left. Yeah, you got to square your shoulders, but from a total body anatomy perspective, it's actually a cleaner, more powerful, more natural thing to do to be right-handed going left. Joe Milton's a freak, though. He does it going right just as good.
Made it look damn easy. Okay, now, Cavonte Turpin, part of the play of the day. He was actually responsible for the low light of the day. This is pure journalism, and I'm not picking on Cavonte Turpin. I'm a big fan, even though he had the hiccup over the summer. I'm just showing this for all of the Cowboys fans that wonder, why don't they get Cavonte Turpin more involved in a route tree? Why aren't we going deep to him? And here's why. Yeah, that's what you call off the heezy, I think, if you're playing and one basketball.
I know you're cutting the music because we don't want to get dinged, but the clip, normally it goes on for a little bit, particularly at training camp. And like we just saw Joe Milton let out the big sigh and talk to God and all that, whatever these guys are doing, because part of this is the continuation of the fun after the rep, right? And this one got everywhere I saw it. It was cut, and it's like an oh no. It's almost like a perfectly set up, meme, GIF, whatever your preferred media for making fun of folks is. And the point that you made at the outset of this is that we're not just making fun of him. We're actually making a point that he's very inconsistent. And when you run like he does, and you see the separation, you go like, why not more? And then it comes down to how often, 7, 8, 9 out of 10. If CD's 10 and GP's 10, and that's the same reason Mingo has been able to get on the field his whole damn career.
Yeah, I'm excited about what Turpin could do, though. I mean, not only in the return game, where I think he could score 4 or 5 combined touchdowns with punts and kicks. I think, the straight handoffs, the jet action, I think screens, I think just short outs and screens and stuff. Kavonte Turpin has a chance to make the play if, you can just simplify the process of catching the ball for him a little bit. And I'm sure, Shoddy and Clayton and Junior are going to do a great job of finding the plays that work best for him. Speaking of finding plays that work best for you, more How About Wow in literally 15 seconds. But How About Wow brought to you by BetOnline. It has been my favorite for a long time. It's full service sports poker. You can bet horses, casino games, and very easy to transfer back and forth between the different offerings, plus depositing and withdrawing, very easy. But anyway, as you can see, up to $250 in free bets and 100 free spins for all new accounts if you use the link in the description below, or if you just want to click on the QR code that's in the upper right hand corner, then that'll take you to the sign up page as well.
One of the things I wanted to just circle back to real quick on Turpin is, I've been having this conversation about Darnell Washington and the tight ends in Pittsburgh about usage and targets and all those things. You can want more, and you can say, why not more? At the same time, Turpin's a guy who literally went from 1 catch on 2 targets to 12 and 18. That's 9 times more. And then last year, 31 on 52. And that's 3 times basically more across the board. So when you think about guys developing year over year, whether it's a great big guy like a 6'7", 280-pound tight end in Darnell Washington, or an itty bitty little Mighty Mouse type, like a 5'9", 150. I mean, that's generous too. 153-pound Kavonte Turpin. Like it doesn't matter like how tall you are and how much you weigh. If you struggle to catch the ball, you struggle to catch the ball.
Yeah, and some guys can make magnificent adjustments if they don't have the best hands. I think with Kavonte, he's just so small. Like it's got to be below shoulder level for him and inside the numbers, because coming out here, he's not going to do well. Bigger players are going to bully him. It's I think it's a very precise set of circumstances that you can get a high percentage ball out to Kavonte Turpin. It's worth it, But you know what else is worth it is just handing him the ball. If you're a great return man,
right,
and you're playing on a team that lacks running back, Atlanta just did that with what's his nuts. I forget his name, but just hand him the ball, get this guy the ball and, try to keep him outside the tackles to reduce injury as much as possible. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about what Kavonte Turpin can do, but I thought that was, a useful piece of video for people to better understand it. Cause if they know that can happen in practice, they're not going to run that stuff in games. So the game start and you're like, why don't we see this? Well, cause Mike McCarthy's seen this for 2 years in practice.
Let's not forget also that this is an all-pro. This might be the best returner in football. And the greatest returner of all time, Mr. You Are Ridiculous Devin Hester, his return game suffered when they tried to justify his contract and make him a wide receiver for real, right? So I think one of the challenges with this is like small doses, like you said, are good. Obviously, he's not going to carry the ball 10 times a game and get his shit kicked in. But
it was 17 last year. Could we triple that?
Yeah. So you talk about 3 times a game, 50, and maybe there's 1 week where it's once and 1 week where it's 5 times, because some of this is got to be dictated by what you're trying to take advantage of. If you've got a really nosy safety who wants to come screw into the box and blow this little dude up and be on like one of those old 90s ESPN jacked up segments because they're just salad, that's when you institute it and then you throw it right over his head. At the same time, when you're getting all the Tampa 2, excuse me, and this is the adjustment Mike McDaniel's going to make in Miami this year, assuming all things being healthy with all the speed they have, is you start the horizontal stretch. If they're going to take away the vertical stretch, how do you manipulate them with the full width of the field?
Yeah, I love that. I think the horizontal stretch is big. I think the other big trend is what the Cowboys have done here, which is 2-star receivers. You want to do clog and cover and know that we can take most of your ball catchers with one defender. Well, here's 2 guys you got to double team. I think that a dominant run game, the horizontal stretch, that's the chess match, right?
Absolutely. And I always struggle with this geometry, trigonometry. What math is it? I'm a words guy, but when you start looking at the whole,
I believe,
when you start looking at the whole field,
I didn't understand trigonometry at all.
I got lost in algebra 2, actually. That's when I was like deuces to the full honors program. But when you look at the field in totality and a chessboard, like what you call it, like this is like what did Denzel say in training day, right? It's chess, right? This shit ain't checkers. And what Schoppenheimer wants to do with things like motion to get you thinking, and then with both horizontal and vertical stretch built into plays, so that even if you guess right, or even if you get it right, and maybe even if you're a better dude, we still have the ability to create space for our guys.
All right, up next here on How About Wow, Dawson and Newbear. We got Ezeraku versus Gayton, our guy Vach Lombardi, who actually joined us on the G-Bag Nation tonight at 5 o'clock.
Awesome.
Hell of a Cowboys YouTuber. By the way, dude hit 100,000 subs today.
Wow.
100,000 subs, Vach Lombardi.
Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah, he's been watching the offensive line like a hawk, looking for signs of progress with Tyler Guyton. We got 4 reps here. Donovan Ezeraku versus Tyler Guyton. Take it away. Okay, not too shabby. Ezeraku tried to go inside. He hands him off to Tyler Smith. It was a fairly quickly thrown football. So, disaster averted there. We saw the rep the other day. We're doing this today where he was destroyed by Marshawn Nealon quickly. So Here's second rep. I guess now we are going to have to be looking on the other side here. We're right here again. There we go.
Ready to jump or ready to crash like when the stop.
Okay, he got him pretty good. Broadus told me today this bending over at the waist a lot is Tyler Guyton trying to headbutt the guy. And he's so dang tall, and it's been an incredible weapon for him over the years that it's just a habit he's got to break. But, boy, it really looked bad on this one, didn't it, Newbear?
It's not a good habit. I mean, that's because you're having a hard time bending. I mean, this is yoga and Pilates in the young man's future. I mean, if he's not doing it already, I know he worked his ass off to get in shape. I mean, this is about elasticity. This is about being that tall and that long and easy for everything that he is. I mean, he's just a much smaller and a much springier dude. What I was really paying attention to on his side with Ezraku is I get fascinated by the 2-point versus a 3-point stance for defensive ends, right? Because you watch sprinters and the fastest people in the world put their hands on the ground. And then you watch these guys in a 2-point stance and you go, there's no way you can convince me that they are faster and more powerful out of a 2-point stance than they are with their hand in the ground. I just refuse. I cannot do it. But he almost seems like he's kind of trying to figure out which one he wants here. And he's also trying to time up the snap. And so for Easy to be in between 2 and 3, for him to be kind of off balance, for him to be guessing on the snap count and not really guessing right. It's not like he got some kind of crazy jump and, Guyton just doesn't have a chance. Like everything that's working against him here, and he still wins that clean. I want to choose to be optimistic about how good 41 might be in blue.
Yeah, that's definitely the other side of this, and I do think Ezraku is going to be very difficult to take off the field. I think he's headed for the all-defense rookie team, maybe rookie Pro Bowler. I'm sold, especially on a guy that comes out of Boston College, team captain. He checks all the boxes. Here's the third play in a series of 4, Newbear. I'll mute it. You can go ahead and talk or just watch, do whatever you want.
Is this the same one or just looks the same? Oh, no, you're okay. Yeah. Good consistency.
Yeah, running the same play over and over. So that one wasn't bad. And I think, when Guyton can get there and just jab, he's going to be fine as long as he stays up. But it's when the guy's getting early and he feels like he's got to reach out for him and pass pro, it's just not going to work. I'm
trying not to guess here, but when you go back and play that one more time, because this is an Eberflus thing. Watch him. He's actually in between. Is he rushing or is he covering the running back? Watch him bail here. So this is a scheme thing, and that kind of stuff is what would keep him from being an every down guy. And where from the beginning, I've talked about that it might be best for Fowler to jump in and be the guy who leads the way, or Mike, or the vets, so that he's coming in at first on third down, hand in the dirt, ass in the air, 3-point stance, sprinter stance, let's go hunt quarterbacks. And if they run a draw, stop the run on the way to hunting the quarterback. This stuff here gives me a little bit of pause because it looks like he's in between understanding what his role and responsibility is. Now, you could also say Guyton just stoned him and he has enough reaction to recognize, hey, there's a running back out here. But I don't know.
That's the multiplicity of the offense. It makes it much harder to read. Like from the defensive end standpoint, at what point are you confident you know what the play is?
Yeah, because who's
right here. When the running back comes into your view over the left tackle's shoulder, you're like, oh, I see what's going on now. I got to drop and cover.
Yeah, this is really interesting because this is the thing that I always talk about with PFF, where it's like, what really was the call? Like, what really? But I'm also like, am I missing something here? Who the hell is 18? Or am I seeing who's dropping to cover? Am I just completely losing my mind here?
Is this Damone Clark over here? Yeah, this is Damone Clark, the third-year LSU linebacker that's had a decent camp so far. He's kind of been a forgotten man because he had a neck injury, but he might be a serious part of this rotation, especially until Overshown comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to figure out what the read keys are. And that's one of the more fascinating ones with also, are you tired? And I like when you start talking about, okay, I won. So you win that first rep, and that's a sprint. And when people joke about how, if you play 50, 60 snaps, the game takes 3 hours, but these guys are playing for like 4 minutes, right? And it's like, how hard could it possibly be? And it's like, okay, go push a sled, go push another 350-pound human being for 4 seconds, and then circle back, and then think about the play, and then get in a stance, and then do it again. And when you win, sometimes it can be just as exhausting as when you get your ass beat, because you're doing everything right. And they're like, oh, I did it. And you're like, oh, shit, now I got to do it again. And then when you go to do it again and you don't win right away on that very next rep, like you can be beat before the rep because the dude's better than you. You can be beat like instantly during the rep because you just realize like, oh, hey, lactic acid, old friend, And I wonder as he starts going through this win after win after win after win, what makes the greats great is when they can win when they're tired.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I think that's one of the keys of having such a deep pass rushing room like Miami or Pittsburgh or maybe the Cowboys have. And, it's rare that you get this many quality edge players, right? Jerry Jones said famously, like I think 10 years or so ago, I still remember it, but even the best edges, most of them, maybe Reggie White's different or something, but they only got about 12 good rushes a game in them is what Jerry felt. Where you really are like, okay, I'm going to get it this time. Right. And I don't know if that number is low, but I don't feel like it's, unlimited. And you see it with Micah Parsons quite a bit. So when you add Ezaraku to a room with Sam Williams and Nealon and you bring Dante Fowler back, I guess what I'm getting at is you have a chance for a lot of those guys to be feeling fairly fresh in the fourth quarter if you have a lead. I don't think you're going to be able to come back against these Cowboys very easily.
It's funny because these new uniforms. So first and foremost, I love Agent Zero, and I think it's cool, and I get why people. But I hate the fact that 0 is a number. I know it's a real number. I'll listen to any arguments, but like the Russell Westbrook trend, that has taken over sports, it makes me crazy, right? But then the college rules on Sunday. When I was like, who the hell is 18? Because in my head, I go, is that linebacker or safety? Like, you have to think about it. Because, Ezaraku's wearing what used to be an old running back number, right? And what you mentioned, like Clark, and you talk about LSU guys, like every LSU dude is a dude. And when you talk about, 6'3", 240, and the stuff that he brings to the table, forgotten man, like that's what's so exciting about this team is like there are people that I literally just forgot who that was. And when you remember, you go, oh, shit, he might surprise this week.
All right. Speaking of players that we would love for to be surprised by, do you like Deuce Vaughn, Kansas State running back? Rookie year, had a big preseason. We were excited about him. And then he went out his rookie year and was terrible. I think under 2 yards an attempt for Deuce Vaughn in his rookie year and like the 40 carries or so or whatever he got. I thought dude's gone, like his dad's a member of the scouting department. So I thought, okay, cute story, but it's time for Deuce. Last year he had 17 carries, averaged 4.1. This year at training camp, he's had some plays. I'll give you a couple of them. I just love watching the little powerful guys play and get to the house. And obviously his production in college was insane. But, I think when it comes to transferable skills from college at the running back position, it's size, it's speed, it's production. He only had one of those. You need at least two. So I think he's still a super long shot, Newbear. But in this Cowboys running back room, he might find himself with a role if he can produce running the ball, because I'm not sure any of these guys are.
I'm so glad that you brought this up because we didn't plan this. This is complete. You didn't send this on the shot sheet or anything. But so if you'll allow me to tell a quick story, my best man, like my best friend, his last name is Sprouse. And when we were at Kentucky, the K-State guys came over, and who did they have? Sproles. So it was one thing for some ignorant coach to call him Sproles because he'd been coaching Darren Sproles, and Darren Sproles is Darren Sproles. And here's my best friend. We were in the same class as walk-ons who made it, got put on money, and they hated us. The one coach asked me, "Are you a Lesniewski or a Wisniewski?" And he was hoping I was like Steve Wisniewski's third cousin twice removed or something. And when I told him I was a Lesniewski, he didn't want anything beyond the fact that I'm 5'11" and 9'10". So anyways, we go through this. And my buddy's like a 5'8", and he played anywhere from like two. I think he was like 220, 217, 218 as a freshman. But they bulked him up to like 255 one off season because he's just a Lorenzo Neal fullback, right? And he's on special teams, and we had like the Playboy All-America #1 kick returner in the country, Derek Abney, legend, and he's one of those guys out there just running around knocking people's heads off. My buddy, right? And then he's like the backup fullback, and then he gets in a game, he makes one-handed catch, or he knocks one of the Georgia guys. Who are the Georgia guys? Thurman. Oh, Jesus. What was his name? Odell Thurman and those guys like back in the day. And some of those big dogs at Georgia, running ISO and power and stuff, right? And still they're calling him Sproles. And to the point where one day they called him Darren. Now, Darren Sproles is a black running back. My friend is a white fullback. Okay. Yeah. Like that lazy of people. And randomly today, he sent me a screenshot and then a video on top of the video, just blowing up our little group, Kentucky group text of, give this man his flowers, give him the ball. Why aren't they playing him like randomly out of nowhere? Because he loves Deuce. I mean, we all love these stories. And I think the challenge with Deuce Vaughn is that as small as Darren Sproles was, that dude had fire hydrant thighs. Yeah. As small as Darren Sproles was, he was big and thick enough, built enough to be able to play through contact and have that low center of gravity and basically just be like a miniature version of an Ironhead Hayward type of guy where he's just like a tiny little human anvil. The thing about Deuce Vaughn is I don't think it's about his ability or his inability. I think it's about the fact that Kavonte Turpin is a better version of what we would like him to be.
Yeah, it's the top end speed, and you don't have to run sub 4.6, but at that size you probably do.
Yeah, at that size you do.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, what's the special team role if he's not your starter or even the second guy?
Right.
Third guy has to do special teams, and I guess a punt returner, but you gotta again a better version of it.
I always think about like little guys who can run and how slippery they are with the ball in their hands. Like, why can't they go be gunners? And then do you ever watch what happens to those guys on the sidelines? There's two dudes whose job it is to try to run you into the Gatorade booth. Like the gunner is like Matthew Slater's been doing it forever in New England. He might be a Hall of Famer, and not just because his old man was one of the best tackles to ever do it, but like to think about that dude doing it for as long as he had, just getting run into, you're getting tripped over cords, you're running over coaches. Like and oh, by the way, if you don't get back in bounds fast enough, it's a penalty on you.
Yeah.
Probably the most thankless job in all of professional football.
Indeed. And obviously Deuce can't do it. I think Sam Williams did it actually a couple of years ago a little bit. And could you imagine trying to block that guy coming down on special teams? You're very thankful for the new kickoff return rules. That's for sure.
Let's maybe not play Sam Williams on special teams ever again.
Up next here, he was damn good at it. Up next on How Bout Wow, I'm taking away the QR code right now in the upper right-hand corner for BetOnline, but you can find the sign-up link in the description. We talked quite a bit about Jaydon. Oh, look at this. I got breaking news, Newbear. Breaking news in the middle of the How Bout Wow podcast. The trainer just told Brian Broaddus that Terrence Steele's going to be okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
Give him a day.
Yeah, just cautionary.
It's a little triple berry in the smoothie. Flavonoids fight inflammation.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, we got Jaydon Blue highlights here. The Cowboys running back. Let's do it. Wearing 34, nice little toss out here, blocked up well. He's got some burst, but we're waiting for pads, I believe, on Sunday.
Yeah, this is just nonsense. And the reason I'm saying that is because we all know he's fast. We all know he can see the hole and he can hit the hole. The only question about this dude is when it's Gale Sanders, give me 18 inches of daylight. When he doesn't get those 18 inches, can he hold on to the ball? I want to see Micah try to peanut punch him. I want to see Kenneth Murray with bad intent. I want to see Jack Sanborn trying to make Sports Center on this dude, and I want to see him just hit him with the L2.
Okay, how about a Solomon Thomas B button? I think that'd be the spin move. He is lined up here on Tyler Smith.
I keep thinking that the audio went out, and then I know it's you muting it, but we had that weird thing with Mac. We missed McAfee getting boo on a couple episodes ago.
Who do we miss? Oh, we missed Pat McAfee getting booed.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago on that clip. I mean, it's a pretty good move on the outside of Tyler Smith here getting home. I believe would have been a sack on Dak Prescott or a hold here on Tyler Smith right there. But either way, we need somebody at defensive tackle, and I'd prefer it to be a giant guy, a giant 350-pounder, who can stop the run. But, I mean, in Eberflus's system, what do you think about a smaller defensive tackle to go along with your 3 technique just to make sure you're getting up the field? I think I'd rather have an average 3 technique than a bad 1 technique, unless we're on goal line or 4th and 1.
The 3 technique is like it's a table stakes thing that player has to be disruptive. Your 1 technique and your nose or your shade or any of the different stuff that you're doing in and around the center is about gobbling up double teams, right? So it's rare that you have a small guy doing that, right? Whereas a small guy but if the small guy isn't a twitchy guy, which I don't know at this stage of his career what they're asking or expecting out of Solomon Thomas. He's a very, 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 very good football player. There's also a reason he's in Dallas. And when you look at tread on the tires, I think he's one of those guys that can probably play as long as he wants to. The question is, how high of a level is he playing at?
Yeah, and I think that kind of puts the spotlight on the issue is that who do you have that's good? Like Mozzie Smith is such a failure at 1 technique. They've actually had him lose weight again this offseason, and they're going to play him as like the 3rd string 3 technique. Just because it was so bad. He was getting turned and he was getting shoved, even though he was supposed to be one of the strongest guys in the NFL, just an absolute bust. And I think having him lose weight again, which he did his rookie year under Dan Quinn, we've already seen how this is going to go, and it's not impressive because he's just not quick enough off the ball. Like, he is the slowest defensive lineman off the ball I have ever seen in training camp, and it's not even close. So then, you have him, you have Jay Toya, the rookie. And then, you're looking at Solomon Thomas, I guess, supposed to back up Osa, but I just don't think there's enough there. The Cowboys have really ignored the talent in the middle of the defense for like 2 decades. And, and consistently, like, linebacker, safety, DT is disappointing.
There's ostensibly 2 7th-round picks battling it out for 1 spot. And to your point, Toya is 340 and Tommy is not, so like when you look at the way that these folks are set up, we talked about getting Mingo in the protein shake line. Toya is a guy who hasn't missed anything at any line where there's calories involved. I mean, he's a big body and he can move and he's got heavy hands and all the things, that all the scouts are looking for. It's just a question of like, can you do it on Sunday? Like, is he good enough to take that next step? He has the opposite problem where the expectations are so low that he might surprise him. And then, I mean, so this is the second one. Toya.
King Basote, and he was running with the ones.
Right. And so that's what's really funny about this is he was like, when you talk about 2 7th-round picks, and this is the 2nd 7th-round pick, right? I got that right in the order. And he's behind the guy who's 40 pounds heavier than him, and he's making enough plays. What I was just to finish the thought that I was just having before you pulled that up, and thank you for always pronouncing everyone's names right, because I'm apparently incapable of understanding how syllables work when it comes to the Cowboys depth chart. But the 7th-round picks have the opposite problem, and it becomes a production surprise because they don't have any expectations. Like, if you're 7th-round pick, like, you make the team, like, that's a good story, but they're not expecting you to start. They're not expecting you to run with the ones on day 2 in camp. Mozzie is how many times, every time you say his name, you say bust in the same sentence. It's almost, you can't say Mozzie Smith without saying bust, no matter what you're trying to shape that narrative into. He's a first-round pick, and he's just not getting it done.
Well, we're getting it done, buddy. I mean, congrats on the success and traction that this How About Wow YouTube page is getting. TikTok is blowing up. We want to just invite everybody again to subscribe, hit that bell button, tell your friends, share the content if you could. Leave us a comment down below. If you notice in the comments, we interact and answer just about every single one of them. And we really appreciate everybody that has made this a real damn a joy and a pleasure to do here in the first 100 days, approaching 1,000 subs. Thank you so much to everybody out there. And thank you, Newbear. It's really been fun working with you, and you are an absolute treasure of football knowledge.
Thanks, buddy. I think I've said this to you before. There's only a handful of dudes that, you talk about over time, and it's like Sean McDonough, Vin Scully, and the guys that you just like this sound. Like when you heard Keith Jackson talk about being down by the bend in the St. Joseph's River, like that's literally how I've always felt when you open up your mouth with a microphone in front of you. I just love the way you sound and the way that you do things. And, you've always been extremely gracious to me and, put your arm around me back in the day. And the fact that you're opening up or willing to do so, all these years later and chop it up and figure it out. Not only has it been, you use the word joy. I mean, that's something we talk about all the time in House Lesniewski. What's really fun is when you do something that you love and people maybe think you're a little bit good at it and they start paying attention, because now we have to show up the same way that we were talking about expectations for first-round picks versus seventh-round picks. We're trying to make sure that this is coming correct every single time.
I love it. We're in Oxnard next week, back tomorrow with more content. You can get our written words and all our socials at howboutwow.com.